It's been a busy week for the BIE for its on-site inspection in Korea. In light of this, we delve deeper into what economic impact the World Expo 2030 will bring to the country. For more on this, we have our finance correspondent Lee Dae-hyun here with us in the studio. Good evening, Dae-hyun.
Great to be here, Jung-min.
So just tell us, how is the World Expo related to the economy?
Right, South Korea's government is all in terms of the hosting the bid for the World Expo in Busan City. The economic impact it's expected to create is huge, worth 61 trillion won, or around 46.4 billion US dollars, and 500,000 jobs are expected to be created. Now, this is not the first time that South Korea has hosted an expo. In 1993, there was the Daejeon Expo, which was science-themed, and in 2012, the Yeosu Expo, focusing on its theme of oceans. These two past events differ from the World Expo in that they were recognized expositions, also called specialized expos, where the host country has to pay for the construction of all the pavilions used by each participant country. These expos only run for 3 months. The World Expo that Busan is aiming to host is what's called a registered exposition, whereby each participant country has to cover the cost of the construction of their pavilion. This type of expo runs for 6 months. Now, for a better understanding, let's use the 2012 Yeosu Expo as a reference. 104 countries attended that event, and around 8.2 million people visited Yeosu during the expo. Aside from hosting the event itself, building expo sites, exhibitions, and even the construction of highways and bridges needed to be done. And the result was $13.7 billion generated for the economy at the time. Now, if South Korea is successful and we have the Busan Expo in 2030, 50 million visitors are expected, with each participant country building its own pavilion using its own money, which is also likely to bring a construction boom to the country. So some event officials say the economic impact of the Busan Expo is just incomparable to anything South Korea has hosted before.
That's interesting. And not only companies that are big, but local startups, they are throwing their support too.
You're right. As you might already know, large corporates are kicking into gear in order to host the Busan World Expo. So now, if you take a look at the Entrepreneurs Committee for the World Expo 2030 Busan, 11 giant corporations, including Samsung Electronics, Hyundai Motor, SK, and LG, are making efforts to make sure the bid is a success. Business leaders from these companies traveled across the globe, urging more support for Busan to host the World Expo, while showcasing the latest technologies that South Korea has to offer, like the 6G networks, robots, and metaverse during expo-related events. Startups are also hopeful of seeing the World Expo in Busan in 2030, as the event may help rebalance regional growth compared to the capital Seoul. In fact, local industrial tech institutes and around 300 local companies are showing their support for the bid by pledging to help with the event's technology infrastructure. One startup industry insider says the expo will bring a big opportunity for startups located outside Korea's metropolitan region.
This is a chance for startup technologies to be showcased to the global market on our home ground. This could be a point where startups could seek for their expansion. There was a startup program at the Dubai Expo, so we're urging the Busan city government to operate the program this time as well.
And Dae-hyun, so what is the Busan's theme for the 2030 World Expo?
So Busan has set its agenda at zero carbon and climate change. It's going to operate exhibitions with zero carbon emissions while using eco-friendly commodities and reusable energy to build infrastructures. As a subtitle to the theme, the message that Busan 2030 would hope to convey is sustainable life with nature, people-friendly technology, and a place of caring and sharing. South Korea's Prime Minister Han Duck-soo also highlighted that by 2030, the most pressing global issues will be climate change and inclusive growth. He also said Korea could highlight these problems and help to find a solution through cooperation with global partners. The mayor of Busan, Park Kyung-jun, also pledged to create net zero expo sites while making floating islands in the city to respond to environmental issues and digital transformation.
Fingers crossed. All right, Dae-hyun, thanks for your report.
Thank you.